Welcome to Thoughts on Thursday. It's Reverend Miller.
And Stuart Holmes.
As we prepare for worship this coming Sunday in person here in our historic sanctuary or on YouTube and Facebook, right in the comfort of your own home, I have two thoughts. I've only shared one thought with Stuart, but another thought came to my mind. Right now here at church, the Mant, where I live, is under construction. And some power went out and a circuit had to be replaced, the AC went out and some lights work, and there's clutter and dishes had to be moved, and it makes life busy, right? And so it isn't easy, right, Stuart, to come to worship on Sunday. We understand that when we're gathering together, there's a lot of things that might have happened during the week, and Thoughts on Thursday is just that helpful moment to help you reflect and prepare for worship. And one of the things that, no matter how busy you are, right? And then I give announcements when we first start, but the prelude that Stuart works very hard on is a wonderful way of centering ourselves for worship. And if you look online and see, I'll often close my eyes at least for part of it, just to reflect and to prepare for it. And so the prelude is there for a reason. It's a time to say, I'm on a rush here, I'm late, I got pulled over for speeding. That happened to someone, I won't mention names. All those things happen, right? Work is not good. The prelude helps us center on worship. The other thought I have to prepare for us is we have an interesting parable, right? There's certain parables, people love the parable of the Good Shepherd. And in Luke, the shepherd finds the sheep and puts them on his shoulders and brings them back. That's just so comforting. Not all parables are like that.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Our parable today is, or for this Sunday, is the parable of the vineyard workers, where an owner builds a vineyard, sets it all up, puts tenants in there, and then comes to collect, and these tenants either beat up or kill the people coming to get the money. The owner even sends the son who gets killed. It's kind of a violent sounding parable for us. We live in the modern day, so it has a different sense to us. And those who are listening to Jesus would have known that Israel is often referred to as a vineyard. So that they would have caught on to that. And then also the interesting thing is we have a lot of stories that are cleaned up. And we think of the Bible as being G-rated. But it comes from a time where people died at a younger age, where there was wild animals. And so if you think of these fairy tales, not the Bible, but fairy tales like Cinderella, the versions we have now are cleaned up. If you look at the original fairy tale of Cinderella, one of the sisters actually cuts part of her foot off to fit into the shoe. And so for those early listeners, the violence, the tension wouldn't have caused them as much concern as we have. And so when we read the Bible, we have to think of our time because it's relevant for us now, but also think of the context of when the story was told. So we have a job, right? To listen to how it relates to us, but also how it related to when it was first told, and also then even to the community that first read the Gospel of Matthew. So those are my thoughts. Two big thoughts, really. I'm still trying to see if I can go longer than Stuart. He always promises he's going to go short, and then he loves music so much he gets carried away.
Oh.
But let's see what happens today.
Well, this is my prelude. And this is my postlude. That's it, I'm done.
Okay.
While you were talking about setting the mood, and you'd mentioned before he went on tape about some people like this prelude and some people like other preludes. Our tastes say, okay, does this prepare us for worship more than you know, the jury's out. Who knows? What appeals to one person may not appeal to the other. So normally when I'm trying to plan on preludes, I look at the service and I said, okay, what is this about today? I came up blank with the parable that is the subject of this week's. So I went generic and picked a couple pieces. But getting back to why am I playing in other traditions, I'm not going to mention which ones, there isn't always a prelude. There's often a short introduction that doesn't feature a piece. In the Protestant church, we tend to want to prepare pieces. And the thought occurs to me, next week, I'm going to be playing a Mendelssohn Sonata, which is going to have some pretty big sounds. You know, what's that going to do for some people? Well, my feeling is, does it give you the opportunity to make a break from what is out there and to come into this sanctuary and kind of settle yourself into a different place, into a sacred place. And sometimes the music will appeal to you and sometimes it won't. But we live with that.
Yeah.
And
I was just thinking how a famous Presbyterian minister, Mr. Rogers,
yeah.
his show would start and end the same way. He segued, you know, he took off this clothes to put on this clothes, and you know, prelude postlude is in a sense that segue or that intentional transition,
right,
to say we're moving into something.
And I feel very fortunate here because the way we have set it up now, there is absolutely no talking during the prelude. And part of that is due to the fact that people are accustomed to that feeling of...
and they're afraid of getting yelled at by Stuart anymore. So they just, okay, this guy's serious. So.
We've had organists that have stopped playing, and I guess maybe in my early days when it got really raucous, I just would stop. Because we work hard to try to get, as you do, to try to get ready for the service. And but it comes back to you know, the job here is to try to create that space for people to come in. As I know you are, very mindful of mindfulness,
yes,
and meditation. And each morning, there are times when I come into my chair and I go, oh, I don't want to do this. And you know, I wake up, that was a phrase. I get up 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, and you know, feel like I've accomplished something.
That
so
intentionality.
I'm 10 seconds under your time. So
well, and I jumped in there too, so
that's
we won't
right.
count it all you. I mean, I'll give back. But these are our thoughts. Hopefully, we love to hear the feedback. One last thought I guess I can share too is, you know, if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook and you experience an issue like the sound goes in or out, feel free to let us know. We don't want any issues, so it's like, when we hear it, but it's helping us problem solve. And you know, technology is wonderful, but it can be challenging. And we did have a radio signal coming through one of our transmissions during the worship service, but we'll solve those bugs. But if you hear something, see something, let us know, and then we'll see, maybe we can fix it.
yeah,
so.
It was interesting. Last week, I had everything up to the last hymn. I heard it on the YouTube, and then it cut out completely, and then came back in for the postlude. Must have liked the postlude.
So we try to.
We don't know why.
Look too, but if you want to help us with that, we would appreciate it. We're not going to be sad that you pointed out something. So,
All
and
right.
someone told me that I was in tune almost the whole time until the end. But that's another
Oh, you're talking about
scene.
singing. I can't imagine who that might have been.
So, thanks for coming. Rambling thoughts today, but fun.
Yeah, they were.
We'll hope to see you on Sunday, either in person or on YouTube and Facebook.
Take care.
Take us out.